You won't find the richness of life in quick fixes or shiny things, so here are 3 areas of life that we are going to water our own grass so it's that much greener. I'm Rickey Jasper, and this is the Chasing a Greater Vision podcast. After getting laid off 2 times in 6 months, I realized I had to be chasing a greater vision in my life. I had to be walking into my calling. I spent time building up a successful fitness apparel business, and then now stepping back in front of camera to talk, to speak more, to hopefully inspire you to chase a greater vision in your life. And my goal with this podcast is for us to do it together, so let's make it happen. What's going on? I am Rickey Jasper. This is the Chasing a Greater Vision podcast. Today's podcast, we are going to talk about shiny things, quick fixes, why they don't necessarily work, and also areas of our life that we can be better at and that we can water our own grass so it's greener. And I am going to get deep about a lot of things that I have gone through, areas that I have fallen very short with, and areas that I've really focused on course correcting. So we start our podcast off with our head and heart hit segment. This segment is what hit me in the head, what made me think logically about something, and what hit me in the heart, made me feel a certain way and really tapped into me emotionally. Now, this can come in the form of a quote. It can come in the form of some sort of video that will roll. And typically the quote, we don't necessarily know the author because sometimes we just scroll through Instagram or social media and we find something that hits us. So today's head and heart hits quote, I don't know the author, is don't miss the caterpillar and then sweat the butterfly. So this hit me in the head from a logic standpoint, which it makes sense. You know, we can't sit back and see the work that somebody's put into something, see the relationship that somebody's worked so hard to attain and worked so hard to grow through, and see the fruition of it, and then be so jealous or so envious of the final product. And then where it hit me in the heart is I started to think back and I was like, man, I went after a lot of shiny things in life, missing out on the caterpillar things to grow, and then the shiny things were kind of fool's gold. And important for everybody to go through those processes. But those things, those shiny things are interesting. The quick shiny things are interesting because they tend to not be what you think. And then you always have the ability to make whatever you are working on and growing into something that's actually shiny if you focus on it. Those are areas that we're going to focus on today. That's what hit me in the head. That's what hit me in the heart. And so we are about to step in it pretty heavy. So in our tips and tricks segment, this is going to be kind of different today. Usually I'll give tips and tricks on 3 ways to do something or 4 or 5 ways to do something. These are 3 areas of my life that I have really worked on to water my own grass so that I can make that thing shiny instead of just running after shiny things. So those 3 areas, the first one is relationships. So relationships for me in the past 10 years were very just quick dopamine fixes to, build up my ego because I had a level of insecurity and was lacking self-confidence in certain areas of my life. And I was just like, let me just find some quick dopamine fixes, which wasn't the best thing. It was shiny things. It definitely ruined a lot of relationships. I wasn't my best self. I wasn't the best person to other people in relationships or quote unquote situationships, we'll call them. This was an area of my life that I realized, well, if I keep chasing these shiny things, they're going to be short-term things. And not that the people were fool's gold. I was going at it in a, fool's gold area. I wasn't being my best self. So, and now being in a relationship for some years and being in a very healthy relationship that inevitably every relationship has its highs and lows and ups and downs, but it's been amazing growth and so much love fulfilled. There are areas in this relationship that I've learned to water my own grass. Look at your relationships. In areas that I've found that have been the watering of my grass in my relationship, first starts with communication. And it's communication, it's honest communication, it's communication that works best for both parties and understanding how both parties communicate. I am, as you know, I get in front of camera, I speak, I'm very forward, I'm very direct. I want a problem to be solved right then and there, even if I'm not in the best mind space to solve a problem, not the best. Carly is someone who she likes to take a step back. She likes to kind of, take a few minutes, get her thoughts together. Early on, that clash, because I'm sitting back and I'm like, no, let's get to the bottom of it now. She's trying to process her thoughts. So what we had to do is we had to do a lot of work on how to communicate better and more effectively so that when any sort of conflict happened, we can understand both of our communication styles respect that and come to a level of communication that works for us. Second thing is leading with love. And this is all relationships. This isn't just romantic relationships. If I personally didn't always lead with love. I was leading with insecurity. I was leading with, thinking that I was the perfect party and that everybody else, there was something wrong with everybody else. I was leading with, lying, deceit, all this stuff. That's what 100% I was leading with. And then sitting back on my high horse and being like, well, nobody's good enough because of blah, blah, blah. It's a very humbling thing stepping into my relationship with Carly and as things progress, because I realize, in areas she's shutting down because I'm still acting the way that I was in years past. And I realized there was no leading with love, and love is an action word. Love isn't always a feeling. It's like falling in love. I think it's more often than not falling in lust. The love hits when the tough times hit, where you have to change and you have to adjust and you have to recalibrate how you do things so that the relationship is more fulfilling and better for each party. And leading with love is giving the benefit of the doubt. It's looking at yourself. It's finding areas that you fall short and working on those and conditioning your mind in a way that helps you be a better person in the relationship. And the last thing from a relationship standpoint is reflecting before reacting. We, as humans, have a profound ability to have fight or flight. It keeps us safe. It allows us to act impulsively so we can keep ourselves and keep those around us safe. It's not always the best when it comes to a relationship. We come into a relationship with a lot of baggage, even though we say we don't. Even if we are clear of mind, we come in with biases, with prejudices, with preconceived notions about specific things. And it's just because we've lived our life through our own lens, and now we are trying to integrate that with somebody else or a group of other people, from platonic relationships. And we're trying to meld this thing and water that green grass without looking elsewhere and being like, oh, that thing over there that I don't see all the imperfections, that's the shiny thing. When in reality, it's like, no, seeing the imperfections and stepping through those things and reflecting before you react about things on the bigger picture is what is going to make the relationship that much richer and that much more green. The reason why I brought that up was because for me, I was a more reactionary person. I am naturally a more reactionary person. I feel like in certain aspects, that's great because I'm like, oh, okay, things get tough. Okay, let's go. We got to ramp it up. But that's not the best when you're trying to have conflict resolution in certain things. And so in your relationships, communicate effectively, lead with love, and then reflect before reacting by thinking about the other person. The second area that I focus on watering my grass to make greener is fitness. And how you feel, it really dictates how you show up in the world. Because if you feel good, I would say you feel good, you play good. You feel good, you show up so much better. And fitness is a watering process. It's not just you do it once today and you don't do anything nutritionally or fitness-wise or activity-wise for a year and you're the same fitness level. It's not like that. Find areas that you can be fitter, and it doesn't mean you have to go to the gym. It can mean, hey, I'm just going on a walk every day. It doesn't mean, oh, you have to prep your meals and eat them. Everything has to be healthy. But hey, today I'm going to have a few more glasses of water and just keep that consistent. Whatever your fitness thing is, it's those small things that allow you to water your grass, because you can't look at someone else and their fitness level or anything and have a level of jealousy and envy of what is coming into their lives because of that. I mean, from an energy level standpoint, I mean, from people wanting to be around them because they want to intake information because of how they have a more positive and more happy and more energetic feel to their day-to-day. Wherever your fitness level is, make sure that it's consistent and think about it. It's a green grass, it's a watering every day. For me, it's like, okay, every day, except on Sundays, because I take Sundays completely off, I'm trying to water my fitness grass. And for me, it's not just about how my body looks. It's how it functions, how it feels, how my mind is going into it, going into something challenging. Fitness also is stepping into something that is a challenge that you're choosing. That doesn't always feel good, but is for your benefit. That's so important in life. And that ties back to the relationship. You're doing a lot of these things that go against what feels natural sometimes, that go against what feels comfortable, so you can benefit yourself and those around you. And fitness is just a huge piece of it because, again, we're walking around in these bodies for, God willing, a lot of years. So if you're not fit and you're not feeling good, you're not going to be the person to show up great in your relationship. You're not going to be the person to show up great for your kids. You aren't going to show up with a level of energy on your job. You won't be able to show up to lead others because you're going to be lacking that good feel about yourself, and that emanates, and you don't want that to emanate. So fitness is something for me that has been a leading driver to be able to do a lot of other things confidently. And I really hope that you hone in on that aspect as well. And number 3, and I would say most importantly, is faith. This is a complex one because, no matter what you believe in, for me, I'm Christian, and I believe that God has shown me so many things because time and time again, I've had a lot of faith and I've stepped into things that I didn't feel that I was ready for. I didn't feel I had adequacy for, but I prayed really, really hard, and I continued to pray hard for signs for specific things, and I kind of walk into a direction even if I don't feel equipped for it. And I'm shown time and time again by God's grace, okay, boom, I prepared a table over here for you. Now, the verse is, I prepared a table for you in the presence of mine enemies. It's like, okay, well, I see that as you're going to get some opposition, but the table is prepped. So when there is opposition, just know that you're in a right place because there's a table prep for you in that area, right? And that takes time to consistently water and to consistently try, like test God, test certain areas of your life and step into those areas. When you do that, you'll see things flourish. The thing about watering your grass and making it greener is because you're able to see things blossom. You're able to really see the growth, and that comes from testing certain things. For me, I wake up, I do my morning devotion, I pray, I set my intentions for the day, I work out, I pray again midday, I ask God for a sign, I pray strong, bold prayers, and then I walk in a direction in which I feel that He's called me to do. And if He provides in that direction, like, okay, cool, I've got it. And typically, He's provided way more in areas that I never thought. If you asked me a year ago, do you think that you'd be in a beautiful home in another state, be able to do these things, afford this, and so on and so forth? I would be like, oh, absolutely not. But I prayed really hard. I worked really hard in areas, and God just provided. And that's why for me, I'm going to continually do that. And a part of it is a lot of giving, a lot of service to others. When you water your grass, and it's typically watering your grass, but it's a lot of service to others. When I talk about relationship, it's not just a relationship with yourself, it's a relationship with others. You're giving to others. When I talk about fitness, yes, you're doing something for yourself, but it's for the impact that you can have on others, the energy level, what you can bring to the table in other aspects of your life that aren't just for you. When I talk about faith, it's, okay, a lot of this is going to come in service to others, and then you get blessed as a byproduct, but you get blessed so you can serve others more. When I was blessed with certain financial means because of job opportunities, I'm not sitting back and I'm not hoarding it at all. I'm giving back. I'm investing into myself. I'm doing things because I'm like, no, I want my gift to be out there more. So make sure you're watering your grass in 3 areas. Again, these areas are very near and dear and very important to my heart. First is your relationship or your relationships. Communicate, lead with love, reflect before reacting. Second thing is fitness. Work hard to be your best self and to feel better. That might be eating a little bit better. That might be just having a few glasses of water. That might be even working out hard in the gym. Whatever it is, do those things that allow you to be more fit. And last thing is faith. Test God. Test, whatever you believe in. Have faith that something greater is going to happen if you give more of your efforts and if you ask more from God, if you really, really dig deep into that. So those 3 things are immensely important to me, and I really, really hope that they help you too. And I really hope you focus on those 3 areas of your life, because that will add a level of richness to your life that you may never have seen just yet, or you have, but maybe you want to see more of it. And our last segment is our word of the day. We can spread this to the word of the week. Our word of the day is growth. Why that is important is because we keep saying it over and over in this episode. Water your grass and focus on your grass so it becomes greener, so you are able to grow something from it. We are going to focus on growth this week. We're going to identify areas that we want to grow. We are going to identify areas that we need to be better at, and we are going to combat them when we see them come up in our lives. When we step into our relationship and we're like, man, we could probably communicate better, we're going to think, before reacting impulsively, we're going to reflect and we're going to say, no, I need to grow through this. And we are going to shift our actions. When it comes to our fitness, when we're like, we don't want to get up, we don't want to eat healthy, we don't want to do things, but we're going to think about this. Okay, I need to grow in this area and I'm going to make the right actions. When it comes to our faith, okay, I'm not unsure about this and this over here. Okay, maybe let me say a short prayer. We're going to grow in these areas and we are going to believe that the fruit of these areas will grow because of our actions. So make sure on a day-to-day basis that you are focusing on growth. As humans, we have this need to be able to grow and progress through challenges. I think that this is so important because if you're not growing, you're stagnant. And if you're stagnant, you are basically regressing because you're already hit a point and hit a level. And then once you're there, you can't go any higher. So you're going to atrophy and, go lower. Growth is also about conditioning your mind. It's about conditioning your habits. It takes time. You're not going to be perfect with this. I'm not perfect with this. All of this stuff that I'm talking about, I'm still figuring it out. I'm still figuring out how to communicate better. I'm still figuring out how to not act impulsively. I'm still, trying to make sure from a fitness level, as much as I'm locked in, okay, on the days where I really don't feel like it, how to get a little bit more. I'm still, from a faith-based perspective, trying to tithe more, trying to do these things that I feel that are very important, trying to pray harder and bolder prayers and those things. And these are areas that I'm trying to grow more. Even this content, I'm trying to grow more in my content, in the delivery and everything. And I know that this stuff comes as a challenge, but my mentality is when I'm in front of this camera and when I'm going through my day-to-day, I'm going to grow, I'm going to learn, I'm going to get better, and I'm going to water my grass because I've been blessed to have grass. I've been blessed to have grass on my side of the yard. So if I'm blessed to have this grass, I'm going to grow it here. I'm not going to look over there on what somebody else has. I'm not going to look over there on the big shiny things that, somebody else has and judge and want that thing. I'm going to look at what I have. I'm going to grow what I have with my gifts, talents, abilities, and the resources that have been given to me, and I'm going to grow. And I hope that this week you grow, and I need you all to remember, because I have to remember this as well. Growth is the caterpillar. It's the caterpillar turning into the butterfly. The shiny thing is the butterfly, but that's only going to come if you've done the growth part. And I'm going to consistently say this together because it is the point of the Chasing Greater Vision podcast. I'm in this with you. I'm learning this with you. I'm doing the same things with you. So we are going to do this. We're going to grow, and let's do this together. And I will see you all next time. Thank you all so much for watching the Chasing a Greater Vision podcast. If you like this podcast, please like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, send it to friends, use a carrier pigeon, do whatever you have to do. We hope that this inspires you to chase your greater vision in your life and for us to continually and consistently do it together.